Welcome to Ellis B. Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
KQV News Time is 4:55. I'm Paul Guggenheimer. Bethany Emanuel at the editor's desk. The KQV newsroom is moved by all of the tributes and well wishes our listeners are sharing with us as we prepare to cease operations Sunday night. Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto also shared his thoughts about KQV going dark.
So I don't remember a time that KQV wasn't around. It's kind of hard for me to understand what it's going to be like without it there.
That's Mayor Peduto, and he can be heard on tonight's Pittsburgh Profiles with KQV reporter Elaine Effort at 7:30 p.m. That should be a great conversation. Be sure to tune in for that. Well, a Christmas Day lottery glitch in South Carolina has left officials trying to determine how to deal with hundreds of unexpected winners. The holiday cash at-a-play game generates trees on a tic-tac-toe grid, paying up to $500 when someone gets three in a line. Lottery officials say that for 2 hours on Monday, which was Christmas, trees were being printed in all 9 grids, giving all players who paid $1 the maximum $500 prize. Some players kept playing, but when players went to cash their tickets, the computer would not pay. Dozens of people came to the lottery's office in Columbia on Wednesday and were told to keep their tickets for a later announcement. The lottery, though, has not said how many winning tickets were bought. The South Carolina Education Lottery Commission is holding an emergency meeting. Yes, I would say that probably qualifies for an emergency, and there may be some irate customers if they don't pay up. Well, that's one story to be watching for the resolution of, if not in 2017, certainly in 2018. KQV News Time is 4:57. Let's check today's KQVTribLive.com listener poll question. KQV is conducting end-of-the-year performance reviews for our elected federal, state, and local public servants. Today, we are asking you to evaluate Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf's job performance. How would you rate Governor Wolf's job performance over the past year? If you say it's been good, call 412-333-9190. If you think it's been fair, 412-333-9192, or poor, 412-333-9194. On the phones, 1,864 total calls. Of those, 218 say he's been doing a good job, 284 say it's been a fair job, and 1,362 say Governor Wolf has done a poor job. Online at KQV.com, 8,770 votes total so far. 67% say poor, 19% good, 14% fair. Listener poll published daily in the Tribune Review. KQV News Time is 4:58. Time to check traffic and weather. On the 8's First Traffic, we go to Brendan Joseph at Total Traffic for an update. Brendan, what's up?
Stop and go on the Parkway West inbound Green Tree to the Fort Pitt Tunnel, outbound from Banksville Road to Green Tree. If you see a traffic problem, call the Dunkin' Donuts traffic tip line, 888-383-0339. Brendan Joseph, Total Traffic.
This traffic report brought to you by Welch's 100% grape juice. This winter, help keep your immune system healthy with Welch's 100% purple grape juice. It gives your body the boost of vitamin C it needs. Welch's is 100% grape juice with no sugar added, ever. Move over orange juice. Get the power of purple with Welch's grape juice. Farmer-owned, family-grown.
Tonight we'll see cloudy skies with periods of snow developing around midnight. We'll have a low of 15. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with mainly morning periods of snow and a high of 20. And for Sunday we'll see more clouds and sun with flurries and a high of 16. Looking around the nation. For tomorrow, in Phoenix it'll be sunny with a high of 76. Denver will see partly cloudy skies with a high of 51. Kansas City will be partly cloudy with a high of 16. In New Orleans there'll be rain showers with a high of 61. And in Chicago it'll be sunny with a high of only 10. From the KQV Scout Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
Your year-end tax-deductible gift will change lives for eternity. Help the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association continue to bring hope to America and nations around the world. Donate now at billygraham.org.
Currently in downtown Pittsburgh, we have flurries and 18 degrees. Make that cloudy and 17 degrees. Flurries and 18 at the airport.
All news, all the time. You're tuned to AM 1410, KQV Pittsburgh, and worldwide at KQV.com. Give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
I'm Paul Guggenheimer. Bethany Emanuel at the editor's desk. It's 5 p.m.
From ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. About 200 million Americans are getting ready to say so long to 2017 through chattering teeth. Record cold is sweeping across the country.
In the Northeast, temperatures are 15 to 30 degrees below normal. And in Erie, Pennsylvania, plows forging a path through 65-plus inches of snow.
That's ABC's Alex Perez in Buffalo, where more snow is expected. Investors said goodbye to the trading year, and what a year it was on the stock market. Despite today's 118-point drop, the Dow gained nearly 5,000 points in 2017. What fueled that rise? Art Hogan, the chief strategist with Wunderlich Securities, says,
we certainly have to give a nod to both the president and Congress for getting some things done on tax reform. But I would tell you that I'd have to give a whole lot more credit to what's going on both in the domestic and the global economy. So the backdrop is pretty darn solid, continues to look that way with the economic data we've seen over the last couple of months.
The White House says President Trump spoke by phone with Egypt's president to offer his condolences after today's attack on a Coptic Christian church south of Cairo. At least 9 people were killed. ISIS has claimed responsibility. The president's in South Florida, where he also met with members of one branch of the military.
President Trump inviting about 60 members of the Coast Guard to play a bit of golf at his private club in Florida. Posing for photos near a bubbling waterfall, the president said he wanted to thank them for their response to this year's hurricanes.
The job you did in Florida, and frankly, especially the job they did, as you know, the job they did in Texas, saved 16,000 people. It's unheard of. So I just want to thank you. The Coast Guard is fantastic.
The president said it was an honor to have them at his club, and they would be back. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
100 days after Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, the Army Corps of Engineers says just 55% of people on the island have power. They expect it fully restored by May. You're listening to ABC News.
For many businesses, hiring is tough. You want access to highly qualified candidates fast. And you don't want to sign a long-term contract or pay upfront fees. That's why you need Indeed.com, delivering 6 times more hires than any other job site, according to independent research. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/credit. That's Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
IT orchestration stories from CDWG. A government agency needed to respond to more constituents with more workers in more places at once. So it turned to CDWG. CDWG orchestrated a mobility strategy featuring Dell Latitude notebooks that kept their people moving and their data safe. Mobility by Dell. IT orchestration by CDWG. Learn more at cdwg.com/Dell. CDWG. People who get it.
Apple is apologizing, the tech giant facing multiple lawsuits after admitting to slowing down older model iPhones. ABC's senior national correspondent Matt Gutman has more.
Next week, Apple says it'll start slashing the prices of replacement batteries from $79 to $29. Company also says it's planning to roll out a software update which will show consumers on their phones when their batteries are on their last legs. Often, that's all that needs to be replaced in an older phone to make it work better.
Authorities say they believe they know what caused the deadly fire in New York City on Thursday.
New York City Fire Commissioner Daniel Nigro says investigators have determined the cause of the city's deadliest fire in 25 years.
It started from a young boy, 3.5 years old, playing with the burners on the stove.
The fast-moving flames fueled by an open door, Nigro says, as the mother fled with her children.
She exited her apartment with her 2-year-old and 3-year-old. And left the door open.
Fire and smoke killing a dozen people in all throughout the 5-story building, including 4 children, the youngest a year old. Michelle Franzen, ABC News, New York.
An attorney in Savannah, Georgia, has plane tickets and game tickets to the Rose Bowl to watch his beloved Georgia Bulldogs on New Year's Day. So he asked a judge to delay a trial set to start the following day, citing the momentous occasion. The judge granted that delay. This is ABC News.
Life happens. With ADT, you can feel safe with an ADT starter kit professionally installed for only $49. Call today and install an ADT starter kit that includes security panel, keypad, key fob, entry and motion sensors, and for a limited time, get a camera included and installed at no additional cost. That's a $449 value installed for just $49.
Requires 36-month price ring contract QSB and easy pay activation. Early term fees may apply. Certain marks excluded. License available at ADT.com. Florida EF 001121. Use the phone 6.
Brian Clark, ABC News.
Pittsburgh's all-news station since 1975. This is KQV News Radio AM 1410 and worldwide at KQV.com, where the News Watch never stops.
KQV News time is 5:05. Good afternoon. I'm Alexandria Chiklos. Cloudy skies, some snow flurry activity, and some snow over the weekend. We might get 2 to 4 inches on the ground. Full 5-day forecast coming up in a few minutes from meteorologist Anthony Morrow, and we'll go to total traffic for the update on the roads. Our top stories this hour: legislation that some claim will outlaw circuses in Pittsburgh, signed into law by the mayor. We'll have a live report. A triple fatal fire on Bennett Street in Homewood last week, and several other deadly blazes prompt the American Red Cross to take action. We have sports news in 10 minutes. Hockey tonight, the Penguins on the road, first of a 3-game road trip, and we'll have the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow on KQV. Penn State and Washington. Business news in 15 minutes. Markets closing lower at the end of trade today. KQV News time is 5:06. Legislation that some claim will outlaw circuses in Pittsburgh is signed into law by the mayor. And KQV reporter Elaine Effort is in the studio with the details. Good afternoon, Elaine.
Good afternoon, Alex. The controversial bill bans the use of any device that could inflict pain or even give the impression of inflicting pain for training or controlling wild or exotic animals. This means no whips, sticks, shocking devices, axe handles, pitchforks, and muzzles. Now, the Shrine Circus and the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium both oppose this measure. The Shrine Circus said it's been coming to Pittsburgh for some 70 years, but this ban may mean the Shrine Circus never comes back to Pittsburgh. Zoo officials said the legislation is based on false assumptions and some minor language changes were needed, but Mayor Bill Peduto has now signed the measure into law. Alex?
Thank you very much. KQV's Elaine Effort reporting. A triple fatal fire on Bennett Street in Homewood last week and several more deadly blazes in White Oak in Armstrong County this week. Well, that prompted the American Red Cross to take action. Red Cross Communications Director Dan Tobin says every home fire is tragic, but when people lose their lives in a home fire, it is devastating for the families immediately impacted and for the entire community. That's why Tobin says a small group of American Red Cross volunteers is going door to door in the area around the Bennett Street fatal house fire. He says the volunteers are carrying a message of safety and helping to install free smoke alarms as needed.
And this time of year, we see an increase of fires, a lot of times due to heating equipment, faulty heating equipment or home heater safety. So what we're doing today is we're trying to educate people on ways to stay safe.
Tobin also says if you have smoke detectors that are at least 10 years old, it's time to replacement. A McKeesport duplex fire left 2 families homeless this morning. The fire was reported around 6:15 a.m. in the 700 block of Ridge Street. The Trib reports firefighters were still on the scene hours after the blaze, the cause of which has not been determined. No word on whether there were any injuries. With an anticipated frigid temperature range anywhere from 16 to 1 degree above zero on Sunday, the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust is moving some of the scheduled outdoor events for Highmark First Night Pittsburgh 2018 to warmer inside venues. 90% of First Night Pittsburgh programming already was scheduled to take place inside theaters, galleries, and other spaces. The annual First Night Parade, which normally travels down Penn Avenue, is moving to the August Wilson Center starting at 7:30 p.m. and extending the fun until 9 p.m. with a puppet party. And the Highmark warming station scheduled to be on the corner of 9th Street and Penn Avenue. That's moving to 7th Street and Penn Avenue outside of the Benedum. Highmark and Allegheny Health Network will be providing free hot chocolate while supplies last. A Pennsylvania judge says Democratic voters suing to invalidate the current map of Pennsylvania's congressional districts haven't proven that it violates the state constitution by unfairly favoring Republican candidates. Commonwealth Court Judge Kevin Brobson issued a 130-page report today to the state Supreme Court. The Democratic majority High Court ordered the lower court to hold hearings and produce a report by today's deadline. The justices quickly scheduled oral arguments to be held January 17th. Time is ticking since candidates for the 2018 election can start circulating petitions February 13th to get on the primary ballot. The Pennsylvania primary election will be held May 15th next year. Republicans now fill 13 of Pennsylvania's 18 seats in the U.S. House, despite winning roughly half of the statewide congressional vote in the last 3 congressional elections. Time now for a look at traffic and weather. And for that, we go to Total Traffic. Here is Brendan Joseph for the latest.
Jam traffic on the Parkway East inbound from 30 to Braddock Avenue with a crash on the shoulder. Heavy again Grant Street to the Fort Pitt Bridge. Outbound is sluggish from Oakland to Braddock Avenue. Parkway West inbound jams Green Tree to the Fort Pitt Tunnel. Outbound from Banksville Road to Green Tree. Brendan Joseph, Total Traffic.
And now it's time to take a look at the forecast. What's ahead in the new year? Looks like it's going to stay cold and we could get some more snow. Here is meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
Tonight we'll see cloudy skies with periods of snow developing. Around midnight we'll have a low of 15. For tomorrow to be mostly cloudy with mainly morning periods of snow, and we'll have a high of 20. Accumulations totaling around 2 to 4 inches. Saturday night will be mostly cloudy with scattered snow showers and a low of 4. Sunday there'll be more clouds and sun with flurries and a high of 16. Monday we'll continue to see more clouds and sun with a few flurries and a high of 16. And for Tuesday there'll be a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 20. From the KQV Scout Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
At this hour in downtown Pittsburgh, we have cloudy skies. It is 19 degrees, and there have been snow flurry activity at several locations, and that includes Newcastle, 17 degrees. The Latrobe area, they've been getting some snow flurries this afternoon, 18 there. Washington County, flurries 19, and Pittsburgh International, snow flurries and 18 degrees. Today, we close out our countdown of Radio PA's top 10 stories of 2017. In 2015, the heroin and opioid epidemic was the number 8 story of the year. In 2016, it was number 3. As the body counts continue to rise in every Pennsylvania county, the epidemic has sadly risen to the number 1 story in 2017 in Pennsylvania. Here's Radio PA's Brad Crispin to wrap up this year's countdown.
The prescription opioid crisis really spans the state and many areas of our country. So this is an urban issue, for instance, in Philadelphia or in Pittsburgh, but it is also a suburban issue, and it is a significant rural issue as well.
It's not like state officials are ignoring the problem. Dozens of centers for excellence dot the Commonwealth's map. These centers offer immediate and follow-up treatment and community support. But Pennsylvania's overdose rate ranks 6th highest in the nation. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania's Attorney General is among a group of top prosecutors nationwide examining Big Pharma's role in the heroin problem.
80% of the heroin addicts start by using a legal prescription drug. Think about that for a second.
As the annual death toll approaches 5,000, the continuing heroin and opioid epidemic is one of Radio PA's top 10 stories of 2017. I'm Brad Crispin.
And as the KQV News Watch winds down this weekend, the KQV newsroom and business staff say a collective thank you for all the well wishes and hearty farewells that we've received these past few days. Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto says the end of the all-news radio format in Pittsburgh is a sign of the times.
In a way, it's kind of telling of where we've gone now, with how people get news. But in a different way, I'm hoping that a lot of the talent that was at the station will continue with podcasts and other ways of telling Pittsburgh's story for the future as well.
We thank you for that. Mayor Peduto reviews a few of the major stories of 2017 with KQV reporter Elaine Effort on her Pittsburgh Profile show. Tune in tonight at 7:30 on KQV. And coming up in the next few minutes, we'll be replaying a broadcast that we had on yesterday, a conversation between P.J. Maloney, Eleanor Shano, and Elaine Effort talking about some of the history of KQV. If you didn't hear it, so we wanted to replay it for you today. P.J. Maloney, his last day on the air was yesterday, and today will be Elaine Effort's. We have sports news coming up. Stay with us on KQV.
It's the NFL on Sports USA. This Sunday, the New Orleans Saints march into Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers. The Bucs have Captain Jameis at the helm, feeding Martin and Evans for 6. If the Saints win, the division belongs to them, thanks to the timeless Drew Brees and the young legs of Alvin Kamara.
Breaks a tackle at the 10. He's in. Touchdown, New Orleans.
It's the Saints and the Bucs right here this Sunday on Sports USA.
Brought to you in part by the Family Clothesline. Visit PennStateClothes.com.
This look at KQV Sports News being brought to you by Housing Authority, City of Pittsburgh, on the road for the Penguins. But unfortunately, 5 players will not be playing due to injuries, including goalie Matt Murray out with an upper body injury. So Tristan Jarry will be in goal tonight when the Penguins open up their road trip against the Carolina Hurricanes. That will be a 7:30 face-off. Also out of action due to injury, defenseman Chris Letang, Justin Schultz, and Chad Ruido, and forward Brian Rust. The Penguins recalled goalie Casey DeSmith and forward Garrett Wilson, along with defenseman Andre Padan. The Penguins and Carolina Hurricanes, 7:30 tonight. Penguins in Detroit Sunday night, New Year's Eve game, and they'll be closing out this road trip in Philadelphia Tuesday, January 2nd, 2018. Of course, we have the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow on KQV. Number 9 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions going up against the number 11 ranked Washington Huskies. They arrived in the Glendale, Arizona area to prepare and to see some of the sites earlier this week. Coach James Franklin says that he was happy to have some of that time to prepare.
It's been a really good week. Our players, I think, have handled things the right way. We always talk about, when we leave, this bowl, that all the people, from the Fiesta Bowl and from PlayStation and from the hotel and the practice site, we should leave everybody with a really favorable impression about Penn State and the type of people we have. And I've been proud of how our guys have handled everything.
You can listen to the Penn State-Washington Fiesta Bowl game tomorrow on KQV. Pregame starts at 2:30, and they'll be kicking off at 4. Busy day of bowl action today. 5 bowl games on the schedule. One final to pass along to you. Wake Forest beating Texas A&M 55-52 in the Belk Bowl. And we have a couple more bowl games underway this hour. The Sun Bowl at halftime with NC State ahead 28-10 over Arizona State. And just started the Music City Bowl between Kentucky and Northwestern. Kentucky ahead 7-3 there. Coming up later, 5:30 start for the Arizona Bowl between New Mexico State and Utah State. And then tonight, it is the Cotton Bowl Classic, USC and Ohio State. They'll be kicking off at 8:30. Steelers, they'll be playing the winless Cleveland Browns, closing out the regular season this Sunday, 1 p.m. kickoff at Heinz Field. That's your sports update. We have traffic and weather next, and then business news, a closing market report from CNBC. The Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh has provided safe, quality, affordable housing to Pittsburgh families, senior citizens, and persons with disabilities for the past 80 years. Today, HACP is the flagship agency providing property management and real estate development services in Pittsburgh. HACP proudly provides supportive services to help improve the lives of the 20,000 residents. To find out more about the Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh, visit online at hacp.org. Here's latest on the traffic. An accident on the Parkway East inbound near the Edgewood Avenue overpass. The accident, left lane and right shoulder, that's really jammed up now. Greensburg Pike, traffic temporarily blocked. So big backups now for Parkway East commuters. Parkway West slowed inbound Greentree Fort Pitt Tunnel. There is a structure fire reported in Baldwin, East Willock Road. That's East Willock Road and Julie Drive. And if you use 51 backups outbound Midwood to Library. Skywatch Weather Center forecast is saying that we could get some snow developing around midnight. Low drops to 15 tonight. Cloudy, periods of snow Saturday, mainly in the morning. High of 20 tomorrow. Total accumulation anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. Currently in downtown Pittsburgh, we have cloudy skies and 19 degrees.
I'm Stephanie Shelton, CNBC. Stocks ending the trading year with a whimper. The Dow lost 112 points, NASDAQ down 46, the S&P 500 fell 13. The last time the three major averages closed out a year with a gain on the last day of trading was back in 2013. But today's close hardly matters. Looking at some of the stats for the year, the Dow has gained nearly 26%, the NASDAQ almost 30%, and the S&P about 20%. The NASDAQ has been up 6 years in a row. The top Dow stock was Boeing, up 90%. The worst was the oldest in the index, General Electric, down 45%. Crude oil prices closed above $60 a barrel for the first time in 2.5 years. Prices are up 12.5% for the year. A Reuters report that Russian tankers supplied fuel to North Korea 3 times in recent months by tanker ship transfer at sea. That would be a major violation of UN sanctions. Stephanie Shelton, CNBC.
That's the sound of your in-law's cat perched over your bed at 3 a.m. You wanted to save money this holiday, so you settled for their house. Now you're staring into the eyes of pure evil. If you booked a hotel on Priceline, you could have saved up to 60%. That's up to $120 a night. Plus, you'd be in your own comfortable cat-free room. Save up to 60% on hotels when you book on Priceline and get the deals you won't find anywhere else.
Express deals are different. Exact hotel shown only after booking.
When you're hiring, you want qualified candidates fast, and it can be hard to know where to find them. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, Indeed helps you find great talent and make the right hire. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/promo. That's Indeed.com/promo. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Domino's $7.99 large 3-topping carryout offer is every day. So no matter what day it is, it's always a good day for pizza. Ask for this offer. Availability and charges may apply.
Hello, Pittsburgh. This is Cecilia Elias with your Wellness Minute. Today's topic, hors d'oeuvres part 2. How to navigate the clean hors d'oeuvres at a party. Stick to the items that look like whole foods. Proteins, look for shrimp, oysters, smoked salmon. If you handle dairy, possibly go for cheese. I tend to avoid the cured meats and sausages, salami, pepperoni, because they often contain MSG, gluten, and sugar. I have also been known to just eat the bruschetta if it's not already on toast. Scoop the inside out of a stuffed mushroom and just eat the mushroom. The same with the deviled egg. Seek out veggies, olives, and nuts. Avoid baked items and mixed items like poppers, tarts, and quiches. If there are sliders, just ditch the bun. It's also perfectly fine to wait until a sit-down dinner to follow or to skip the food at the party altogether. If anyone judges you for it, it's simply due to their own insecurities. Today's Wellness Minute has been brought to you by Pittsburgh attorney Tom Smock. Thank you, Mr. Smock.
And now here is Derek Evans with a Wells Fargo business update.
Stocks declined on Friday. The Dow was off 118 points to 24,719, while the S&P fell 13 points to 2673. The Nasdaq slid 46 points to 6903. All 11 sectors in the S&P 500 finished in the negative territory as the sell-off in U.S. equities accelerated late in the session. Telecom and healthcare were the worst performing sectors. Notable decliners included Apple, which fell 1%, while Amazon retreated 1.4%. The S&P 500 finished lower on the day, but capped its best annual performance since 2013. The index gained 19.4%, while the Dow surged 25.1%, and the Nasdaq rallied 28.2%. The S&P 500 added 6.1% in the fourth quarter and 1% in December, but dropped 0.4% in the final week of 2017. The Dow posted 10.3% fourth quarter advance, which included a 1.8% December rise, but a modest 0.1% loss in the final week of the year. And finally, the Nasdaq gained 6.3% in the final 3 months of the year, but gained only 0.4% in December and slipped 0.8% this week. This is Derek Evans, financial advisor with Wells Fargo Clearing Services, LLC, and Wells Fargo Advisors Financial Network, LLC, members SIPC.
And this is 1410 KQV Radio News. Glad to have you with us, and thanks for listening for all these years. If you don't know now, the news department will be shutting down. The all-news format is going away. The station will be closing down effective midnight Sunday. So 2018, you will not hear what you have listened to many years, KQV 1410, our all-news format. Yesterday was P.J. Maloney's last day on the air. Today is Elaine Effort's, as well as mine, and we thank you very much for listening. Yesterday, P.J. had an opportunity to talk with Eleanor Shana, who used to work here at KQV, and it's interesting because she played a role in the all-news format continuing on KQV all these years, more than 40 years. We'll be replaying that discussion, that chat that PJ had with Eleanor Shano and Elaine Effort coming up after the 6 o'clock hour on KQV. We wanted you to hear some of the history about KQV, as well as continue to say thank you for listening. We appreciate the opportunity to serve our listeners with news and information, sometimes sad, sometimes happy. But we're here to continue the News Watch, and we will do that until the close of business today. KQV News Time, 5:26. We'll check the latest numbers in our listener poll next.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender involves so much more than just a rate. Only Quicken Loans has earned 11 J.D. Power Awards. No other lender comes close to that level of client satisfaction. And we invented Rocket Mortgage. It gives our clients a simpler, hassle-free way to get a mortgage completely online in minutes. No one else has anything like it. And our people. Each one of our 17,000-plus team members throughout Detroit, Cleveland, and Phoenix provides absolute client satisfaction each and every day. So why would you go anywhere else to get your mortgage? Go to America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for the best mortgage experience on earth. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
And now here is today's KQV TribLive.com listener poll. KQV is conducting end-of-year performance reviews for the elected federal, state, and local public servants. Today, we are asking you to evaluate Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf's job performance in 2017. If you say he deserves a good job performance rating, then call 412-333-9190. Or fair rating, call 412-333-9192. Or should he get a poor rating? That number is 412-333-9194, or vote at KQV.com. Looking at the web voting, just refresh the numbers, 12,286 votes now, 76% giving the governor a poor job performance rating, 13% a good rating, and 10% a fair rating. And the phone tally shows we have 1,380 callers who believe the governor deserves a poor job performance rating, 298 a fair rating, while 230 are giving him a good rating. Continue to vote online or by calling. Final tally for you right before 7 o'clock tonight. Here is Brendan Joseph of Total Traffic with a look at the roads.
Jammed on the Parkway East inbound from Greensburg Pike into Braddock Avenue. That because of a crash. They're working on moving the vehicles out of the way. Outbound stop and go from Oakland to the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. Parkway West outbound is heavy from Banksville Road to Green Tree. Brendan Joseph, Total Traffic.
Your year-end tax-deductible gift will change lives for eternity. Help the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association continue to bring hope to America and nations around the world. Donate now at billygraham.org.
For action,
What's that door?
suspense,
Get up on your feet. Get up. Shoot it out. No.
thrill, chills,
Turn your face, darling. Please turn your face. I can't.
and drama.
Now there's another train coming the other way.
No, you can't.
It's the WON Nostalgia Theater. Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on historic KQV 1410 AM and online at KQV.com.
Tonight we'll see cloudy skies with periods of snow developing around midnight. We'll have a low of 15. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with mainly morning periods of snow and a high of 20. And for Sunday, we'll see more clouds and sun with flurries and a high of 16. Looking around the nation. For tomorrow, in Phoenix, it'll be sunny with a high of 76. Denver will see partly cloudy skies with a high of 51. Kansas City will be partly cloudy with a high of 16. In New Orleans, there'll be rain showers with a high of 61. And in Chicago, it'll be sunny with a high of only 10. From the KQV Scout Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
I was about ready to head out of the door.
You have another newscast.
Yeah, I got another newscast.
Young lady.
The temperature in downtown Pittsburgh, 19 degrees. It's cloudy out there. I'm Alexandria Chakos.
Can I push this button now?
Yes, Bethany Emanuel is at the editor's desk.
Yes, she is.
And now the News Watch continues with Paul Guggenheim.
All right. Thank you, Alexandria. One more handoff after this as we count down. I promised myself I wouldn't do this, but I'm counting down everything now. Speaking of counting down, I have 25 seconds to tell you that Elaine Effort will be with us to talk about legislation that some claim will outlaw circuses in Pittsburgh, signed into law by the mayor, to say the least. It's been controversial. We'll talk about that here after the headlines from AP. Also, we'll be talking on the live line with Tara Palmieri, ABC News correspondent, about the Bronx apartment fire. First headlines from AP.
Deadly Bronx fire, swatting death. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. Fernando Betis says his sister and her granddaughter among the 12 people killed last night in a Bronx apartment building fire.
They couldn't escape. There were just two people, my sister and the baby, 8 months old. The smoke, I guess, overcame her. Everything happened so quick.
A New York City fire official says a 3-year-old boy was playing with burners on a stove when the fire started. Blaze then burned through an open apartment door and up the 5-story building stairwell. The mother of a Wichita, Kansas man killed by police responding to a false report of a homicide and hostage situation says her son was murdered. Lisa Finch tells the Wichita Eagle her son, Andrew Finch, was unarmed when he opened the door to the family home last night. She says he screamed and was shot. FBI and police are investigating whether the call was a so-called swatting prank in which someone makes up a false report to get a SWAT team to a home. I'm Tim McGuire.
And I'm Paul Guggenheimer. KQV News Time is 5:32. Coming up during this half hour, we will look into what happened in New York, what caused the fire, and those who perished in the worst fire in New York City in 25 years, excluding, of course, the 9/11 fire, the fires that accompanied the bombings of the World Trade Center. That's coming up later in this half hour. On a much, much lighter note, we'll look ahead to tomorrow's Fiesta Bowl, which you can hear here on KQV between Penn State and Washington. Traffic and weather on the 8s. Sports at 45. Bloomberg Market Minute at 50 past. Right now at 5:32. Our top story, legislation that some claim will outlaw circuses in Pittsburgh is signed into law by the mayor. KQV reporter Elaine Effort is in the studio with us with the details. Elaine.
Paul, the controversial bill bans the use of any device that could inflict pain or give the impression of inflicting pain for training or controlling wild or exotic animals. Now, this means no whipsticks, shocking devices, axe handles, pitchforks, and muzzles. The Syria Shrine Circus and the Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium both oppose this legislation. The Shrine Circus says it's been coming to Pittsburgh for some 70 years, but this ban may mean the Shrine Circus never comes back to Pittsburgh. Zoo officials said the legislation is based on false assumptions and some minor language changes were needed in this bill, but Mayor Bill Peduto has now signed the measure into law. Paul?
Yeah, he has indeed, and but as you just mentioned, there is this other side to this that people are disputing. What about that argument, Elaine?
That they are disputing?
That they are disputing that that the zoo officials, the circus officials, have said that they have modified what the city wants to outlaw to the point where they say it's no longer inhumane.
Right.
So they're making a case here, but apparently it's fallen on deaf ears.
Right. It was passed by City Council on December 19th by a vote of 6-3. It has a supermajority. So even if the mayor had vetoed this legislation, they had enough to override it. But he didn't. He took 9 days. He had 10 days to consider this before signing it or letting it go into law without his signature. But he signed it into law. So it's now on the books. What isn't clear when you read the legislation is how this will be enforced.
And that's the kind of insight we've come to expect from Elaine Effort, the Dean of Reporters here at KQV. This is our last time together, Elaine, and I have not been here for a very long time, but in the time that I have been here, I've really enjoyed working with you. Thank you for showing me, setting such a good example for me, putting me in my place when I needed it, even though I'm such a perfect angel all the time. And
you've been a nice addition to KQV, with your voice and your inquisitive nature and always wanting to find a little bit more. Well, what else is it to this story? Because as you and I both know, there's always more than one side, two sides, three sides. There's a lot to, and the dynamics, that's where the meat is, why things are the way they are and who has the ability to change them and when might that happen. So we have been fortunate to work together, and I appreciate what you brought to the table.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. Thank you so much for being here on so many occasions I don't think there's anybody in this city who has covered more news, certainly not at this station, and I would dare say at any other radio or television station in this city. I don't think there's anybody who has covered as many stories for as many years as well as Elaine Effort has. It's been my honor to work with you. I'm sure our listeners are going to miss you. Thank you for every little thing.
And I'm going to miss this work. But it's time to move on to another chapter, another journey, and I look forward to it. But I have no complaint, no regret. This has been a wonderful ride.
And this is kind of like when the Beatles did Abbey Road. That was their last recorded album. But another album came out after that that had been recorded previously, but it was the last release. So we still have another release from Elaine Effort. We have an excerpt of a conversation between she and Eleanor Shano and P.J. Maloney, which Alex is going to play. Alexandria Chaklos is going to play in her half hour after 6 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, we get to hear Elaine Effort with Mayor Peduto.
Yes, that will be at 7:30 Pittsburgh Profiles.
7:30.
And I'll have a conversation with Mayor Peduto and the Emeritus Rector of Calvary Episcopal Church, the Reverend Dr. Harold Lewis. And he talked about, he did an article in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette recently about a little of the history and about what taking a knee meant to the players who first started doing it. And it wasn't to disrespect the anthem or the military. No, it was a sign of reverence because many people, when you go to worship, you genuflex. And that's what they were doing, taking one knee, a genuflex, to show that their frustration with the lack of justice in this country. So that's a very interesting interview. He interviewed talked to some of the players before he wrote his article that appeared in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. So it will be those two interviews airing tonight, Pittsburgh Profiles at 7:30, and then again tomorrow at 7 a.m., and then on Sunday at 2 p.m. So I'm not going quietly.
So we get to hear more of Elaine all weekend here on KQV before we sign off, but this is the last live appearance.
That's right. And I've been doing that too. Oh, this is my last visit to City Council chambers. This is my last visit to the mayor's office. And I thought, I've got to stop that because you don't know what the last is. You know, we don't know what's going to happen, what other doors may open, what other opportunities. So let's stop doing that and just enjoy the moment and be grateful for what we had here.
I am. Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you, Paul.
KQV's Elaine Effort. KQV News Time is 5:39, and in just about a minute, we will be joined on the KQV Live line by Tara Palmieri, who is ABC News correspondent in New York, who's been covering this very tragic, very sad story in New York City. The worst fire that New York City has seen in 25 years, a Bronx apartment blaze in which 12 people died, including a 1-year-old child. Fire officials say that deadly fire was caused by a 3-year-old boy playing with burners on a stove. Tara will have the details for us on that coming up here shortly on the KQV Live line at 5:40, and it is 5:40. So while we're waiting for Tara, we will tell you that here in Pittsburgh, a woman, her 2 daughters, and a niece are among the dozen victims of a fire that raced through a century-old New York City apartment building. The officials have not released the identities of the victims of the Thursday night blaze, but Ambrosia Stewart told several news outlets they include her youngest daughter and 3 granddaughters. Stewart moved to the United States from Jamaica in the 1980s. A fire official said the fire started when a 3-year-old boy played with burners on a stove, and Fire Commissioner Daniel Nigro said the fire raced through an open apartment door and up the 5-story building stairwell, chasing residents as they fled. 13 members of the family lived in the building. And again, we're hoping to get details on that from Tara Palmieri in New York. When I said closer to home, what I meant was the next story I'm about to read, which is that the American Red Cross is canvassing the Homewood section of the city following last week's fatal fire. Red Cross volunteers are going door to door in the area around Bennett Street, where a fire claimed 3 lives, while police say the fire was intentionally set. Red Cross Communications Director Dan Tobin says there are steps that you can take to give yourself a better chance at escaping and surviving a blaze.
2 biggest things you can do is have working smoke alarms and a home fire escape plan. So we have a team of volunteers going door to door in the area in Homewood around Bennett Street where the fire happened last week. And they're installing free smoke alarms to any area residents who need them. And they're also helping them create home fire escape plans.
Tobin says the Homewood campaign is part of the American Red Cross's Sound the Alarm, Save a Life initiative. KQV News Time is 5:42, and the traffic and weather are coming up here shortly. We will get to those. We're running a little bit late on time. We'll also get to sports at 5:45. But as I mentioned, Tara Palmieri is joining us now on the KQV Live line from New York to talk about that devastating, tragic fire in New York City, the worst in 25 years, if you exclude, of course, the fires that were happening on 9/11. Tara Palmieri, welcome to KQV. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing okay. The city is in a lot of shock right now from this really tragic fire around the holidays.
Yeah, we're hearing how it started, but there are a lot of people who might be tuning in now here during rush hour who haven't heard. What do we know about what caused this fire, Tara?
Well, we know that it was a 3-year-old child playing with the burners on a stove. That child was able to escape. They were on the first floor. And the fatal mistake was that the mother, when she was getting out of the first floor apartment with her 2 children, she left the door open, and the fire spread so quickly. It basically treated the stairs like chimneys, following more air to grow, and before you knew it, it was all the way up to the 12th floor.
And so what we have heard is that 12 people have died, and there are others that are in critical condition, really fighting for their lives at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's a real tragedy, and the Red Cross is helping some of the homeless right now, and there's a nearby school that's letting them live there for a short period of time. But the one thing we all sort of, I think, learned from this was the importance of closing the door to trap a fire.
Right. I hadn't heard that. Do you imagine that that's something that's widely known? I would guess not.
I didn't know that, but it makes sense since fires grow from air and oxygen. So, but yeah, I mean, the firefighters came, and within 3 minutes, it was basically engulfing the building.
And I suppose, too, that, you're talking in the Bronx, you've got some older buildings, older structures there, and that might have contributed to the likelihood of something like this happening.
Right. It was a 100-year-old building, and a lot of the newer buildings have sprinklers in them, and they're just made of different types of materials, usually less flammable material. So if you live in an old building, there's always that risk, and New York City has a ton of those buildings, not just in the Bronx, but Manhattan, Brooklyn, all over. So
I guess just everybody hoping that folks have learned something, that something good can come out of this tragedy with the knowledge gained about maybe how to prevent, if not the fire starting itself, the spread of the fire in the way that this one spread.
Right. So that definitely, I think a lot of people in New York City learned that, and it's just startling that in 2017 that, we still have such massive fires happening.
Tara Palmieri, ABC News correspondent, joining us on the KQV Live Line from New York. We know it's been a busy day for you, Tara. Thank you for making time for us on KQV.
Thank you.
KQV News Time is 5:45. Let's we'll come back with sports. We'll lighten the mood a little bit, but we first must get to a few words from our sponsors. Let's do that now, and then get to sports, traffic, and weather coming up on the 8th. Bloomberg Market Minute at 50 past. Stay tuned.
In January, Radio PA will bring you a very special edition of Ask the Governor, as former Governor Tom Corbett returns for an in-depth tell-all interview that includes the questions we've been waiting for him to answer about Kathleen Kane, Jerry Sandusky, the Penn State factor in his 2014 re-election loss, the combative state legislature, and much more.
I lost. Move on. Some people have told me you need to go on a tour called the I Told You So tour.
Have you Monday morning quarterbacked the 2014 election?
Sure.
If you could say something to Kathleen Kane, what would you say? You can hear this special edition of Ask the Governor on many of these local Radio PA affiliates in January. Check with your local station for the date and time of broadcast. You can also hear the interview in its entirety, including segments not included in the radio broadcast at PAMatters.com starting January 8th. Former Governor Tom Corbett in a no-holds-barred interview from the studios of Radio PA. Ask the Governor is an exclusive presentation of Radio Pennsylvania and PAMatters.com.
KQV News Time, 5:47. Let's get caught up on some stuff like sports. We have a big game, in case you haven't heard, tomorrow here on KQV, starting with our coverage at 2:30. The kickoff is at 4. Penn State versus Washington University Huskies. The University of Washington and Penn State in the Fiesta Bowl. And Penn State head coach James Franklin says that he's been happy with the focus he's seen from his players this week.
We talk about the bowl games being present, and what I mean by that is, when they're going out with their buddies at night and enjoying the town, I want them to enjoy themselves. When we're playing kickball with kids from a local, charity event, I want them to enjoy that. And then when we're in meetings and we're at practice, let's be locked and loaded on that. Our guys have handled all those things really well.
Just make sure you're in by that curfew. And again, that's a 4 o'clock kickoff, 2:30 pregame. You can hear it all here starting at 2:30 on your home of Penn State Sports, KQV. Penn State versus Washington in the Fiesta Bowl. Steelers taking on the Browns in Heinz Field on Sunday, last regular season game for the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger saying that he is hoping to play, and there's been some question about that because the Steelers are looking at maybe resting some players.
I love being out there with the guys. Kind of like preseason games, it's hard to not play. So, it's kind of one of those things. It's not my call.
No, it isn't. We'll see what Mike Tomlin decides to do. Steelers can still get home field advantage in the AFC playoffs with a win over Cleveland and a loss by the Patriots to the New York Jets on Sunday. Both games start at 1 o'clock. And the Penguins are at Carolina tonight. Goalie Matt Murray, suffering an upper body injury, will not play tonight. Tristan Jarry will get the start in goal. KQV News Time, 5:48. Let's get to traffic. Structure fire East Willock Road at Julie Drive in Baldwin. Structure fire. Parkway East, accident on the shoulder inbound near Edgewood Avenue overpass, and that is blocked. Jammed from Greensburg Pike, Churchill exit 9. Accident on 19 Cochran Road, Mount Lebanon Township, 19 at Bower Hill Road. And burst water main in the South Hills. Burst water main in the South Hills, 19 West Liberty Avenue at Capitol Avenue. KQV Skywatch Weather Center forecast for meteorologist Anthony Morrow. Tonight we have cloudy with a period of showers and snow showers developing around midnight and a low of 15. Tomorrow mostly cloudy with periods of snow, mainly morning, high 20. Accumulation now, they've upped that to 2 to 4 inches of snow tomorrow. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy with scattered snow showers and a low of 4. Currently, 17 and cloudy downtown, 18 and cloudy at Pittsburgh International Airport.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. Wall Street ended a winning year with a down session. The Dow Jones Industrials fell 118 points, or 0.5% to 24,719. The Nasdaq closed 46 points, or 0.2% lower. The S&P 500 lost 14 points, or 0.5%. Each of the indexes rose 20% or more for the year. Looking ahead to 2018, Matt Maley of Miller Tabak tells Bloomberg valuations on Wall Street are stretched and tax reform may not offset liquidity drawdowns by the Fed.
Even if we get the kind of growth that we're looking for, I don't know that it's going to be enough to take the market a lot higher like it did this past year without the kind of liquidity that the ECB and the BOJ have been providing this year.
Maley says the market still has upside potential, probably just not as much as it had at the start of 2017. Crude oil futures rose to $60.42 a barrel in New York. Oil rose 5.5% this year. Jeff Bellinger, Bloomberg Radio.
And this Bloomberg Market Minute, presented in part by Henderson Brothers. Henderson Brothers, expect an expert.
Anybody who knows the river knows it's complex. Much like insurance, there's what you see and what you don't. At Henderson Brothers, we know these waters well because Pittsburgh has been our home for over 120 years. So you can rely on us to be your expert guide. We are people who love what we do, and you will be the beneficiary. Expect enthusiasm. Expect excellence. Expect an expert. Henderson Brothers.
The holidays are a time for making memories. So are birthdays, weddings, and retirement parties. Today, they get recorded on smartphones. But as you're packing away those Christmas decorations, there's a good chance you'll pass a box of old audio or videotapes, maybe even 8mm films. Isn't it time you relive some of those memories? Well, don't waste time and hassle dusting off your projector, VCR, or tape recorder. That tired equipment could damage your one-of-a-kind recordings. Instead, call Tape It Up Reproductions and let a professional transfer your memories to CD, DVD, Blu-ray, or even downloadable files. Your Tape It Up representative can enhance the quality and offer tips on keeping your new copies in good shape for years to come. Get more information and pricing at tapingitup.com or call 412-766-1679. Mention this special radio offer to get free rush delivery on your order. That's 412-766-1679. Tape It Up Reproductions, modernizing your memories. Call 412-766-1679.
Here's another Pittsburgh History Minute with Senator John Hines Pittsburgh Regional History Center. Here's the president and CEO of the Hines History Center, Andy Masick.
Who would have thought that a phone call originated here in Pittsburgh would revolutionize the way the world communicates? Alexander Graham Bell first broke the communication barrier with the invention of the telephone in 1876. Nearly 100 years later, in 1970, commercial picture phone service made its debut when Pittsburgh Mayor Pete Flaherty and Alcoa President John Harper placed the first video phone call. The picture phone was thought to be the wave of the future. AT&T believed that Pittsburgh, with all its corporate headquarters, would be the logical place to kick off this new innovation. Despite its fuzzy 5-inch screen, AT&T anticipated millions of picture phone users by 1980 and spent more than $100 million developing the technology. Local companies, Westinghouse and Alcoa, trained hundreds of technicians to install and operate the picture phones, which were rented for more than $160 a month. But consumers weren't keen on the picture phone's awkward controls and bulky design. Further testing revealed that most people felt uncomfortable with the idea of being seen during a phone conversation. Too far ahead of its time, the picture phone never caught on, selling fewer than 500 units nationwide. By 1972, Pittsburgh had just 32 sets in service. Despite its limited use, the technology developed for use in the picture phone opened the door to other video communicating devices, including the personal computer. Thanks to Pittsburgh's role in the trial run, today people around the world communicate using both audio and video technology.
That was today's Pittsburgh History Minute, heard only on KQV 1410.
KQV News Time, 5:54. I'm Paul Guggenheimer. Bethany Emanuel at the editor's desk. Defense Secretary James Mattis with an update on the U.S. presence in Syria. ABC's Elizabeth McLaughlin is at the Pentagon with the details.
Defense Secretary James Mattis said more American diplomats will be on the ground in Syria as the coalition tries to stabilize areas now cleared from ISIS control. Despite major victories on the battlefield in 2017, Mattis said the war against ISIS is not over and the terrorist group can still inspire lone wolf attacks. Elizabeth McLaughlin, ABC News, the Pentagon.
Actress-singer Rose Marie has died at age 94. A look back at Rose Marie's career from ABC News entertainment correspondent Bill Deal.
Born Rose Marie Mazzetta, Rose Marie was the first major star to be known simply by her first name. She's best known for her role on The Dick Van Dyke Show. In a television Legends interview, she said,
I played Sally Rogers, who was one of the writers of the show. In fact, I was the first women's lib part that was ever on television.
Rose Marie also appeared on Doris Day's TV show and was a frequent panelist on the game show Hollywood Squares. In the early 90s, she had a recurring role as Frank Fontana's mother on Murphy Brown. Bill Deal, ABC News.
Thank you, Bill. And think about that. So before Fabian, before Madonna, before Sting, before The Edge, there was Rose Marie, the first known by her first name. That's just a small fraction of the impact she had on the entertainment industry. KQV News Time, 5:56. Back with the KQVTribLive.com listener poll question and traffic and weather on the 8s after this.
Hi, this is Jack Bogut with a personal question. Are you one of those people who waits until the absolute last minute before you buy an important gift for someone special? I'm raising my hand here. You know, a gift card from Papa J's is welcome anytime. And what a thoughtful, important gift it could be because you could share in the joy. If you give a gift card from Papa J's, one size fits all, male or female, old or young, doesn't make any difference, in any denomination, and the beauty of it is you can shop while you dine. Simply go to Papa J's at 200 East Main Street in Carnegie, sit down, order a great meal, and get a gift card. Papa J's, 200 East Main Street in Carnegie with a big free parking lot right out behind the restaurant. And you can shop while you dine.
The holidays can bring additional stress to those suffering from addictions as well as to the families who love them. At Greenbrier, we recognize that. I'm Mary Banaszak, CEO of Greenbrier Treatment Center. Greenbrier offers help and hope through programs at several locations throughout the Pittsburgh area. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of a renewed life and your family the gift of a lifetime. Call Greenbrier today at 1-800-637-4673. That's 1-800-637-HOPE.
KQV News Time is 5:57. Here's today's KQVTribLive.com listener poll question. KQV is conducting end-of-the-year performance reviews for our elected federal, state, and local public servants. Today, we are asking you to evaluate Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf's job performance. How would you rate Governor Tom Wolf's job performance over the past year? If you think it's been good, call 412-333-9190, FAIR, 412-333-9192. If you think it's been poor, 412-333-9194, the number to call. On the phones, we've had 1,976 total calls. 238 say that Governor Wolf has done a good job. 309 say he's done a fair job. And 1,429 say he's done a poor job. Online at KQV.com, updating our totals so far. 17,899 votes. 84% say poor, 9% good, 7% fair. Listener poll is published daily in the Tribune Review. We'll have the final results for you next hour. Here's the results of the traffic situation as Brendan Joseph is standing by at Total Traffic.
Jammed on the Parkway East inbound from Greensburg Pike to Braddock Avenue with a crash on the shoulder. Outbound stop and go from the Boulevard to the Allies to Braddock Avenue. Parkway West inbound sluggish approaching the Fort Pitt Tunnel. Brendan Joseph, Total Traffic.
Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post your next job opening on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com.
Tonight we'll see cloudy skies with periods of snow developing around midnight. We'll have a low of 15. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with mainly morning periods of snow and a high of 20. Then for Sunday we'll see more clouds and sun with flurries and a high of 16. Looking around the nation. For tomorrow, in Phoenix, it'll be sunny with a high of 76. Denver will see partly cloudy skies with a high of 51. Kansas City will be partly cloudy with a high of 16. In New Orleans, there'll be rain showers with a high of 61. And in Chicago, it'll be sunny with a high of only 10. From the KQV Scout Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
Currently, we have a cloudy sky and 17 degrees downtown, 18 degrees and cloudy at Pittsburgh International Airport.
All news, all the time. You're tuned to AM 1410, KQV Pittsburgh, and worldwide at KQV.com. Give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the word.
ABC News, brought to you by Vincentian Marion Manor.
It's 6 p.m.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Days after this American in Puerto Rico told ABC News that she gets around at night in her home with no electricity by feeling the walls in the pitch blackness, word from the island governor and the Army Corps of Engineers that 100 days after Hurricane Maria smashed into Puerto Rico, just 55% of people on the island have power. They expect full power restored in May. Hours after this opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange, Wall Street's major indexes ended lower on the final trading day of 2017, but capping the best year for the S&P 500 in 4 years. Art Hogan, chief strategist with Wunderlich Securities, credits not just the Trump administration, but the economies of every developed country now seem to be expanding. But will employees see a raise?
I think workers eventually see that. It depends on which company you're talking about. So if you are a company that has actually taken out a lot of debt against that pile of cash you have overseas, you may pay down that debt, right, to shore up your balance sheet. And if you are a company that actually has some good ideas with what to do with that capital and have been capital starved, you may well start building some plants and equipment and hiring people.
There's an investigation into whether a deadly police shooting in Wichita, Kansas yesterday stemmed from somebody making up a false report of a hostage situation to get a SWAT team to come to a home in a prank common in the online gaming industry known as swatting. Deputy Police Chief says a man was shot as he came to the front door. When officers got inside the house, they didn't find anybody with gunshot wounds. Singer Joy Villa, a President Trump supporter, files a sexual assault complaint against former Trump aide Corey Lewandowski, telling ABC's Paula Ferris.
You side with the women, the many women that have accused the president.
I can only side with something that has happened to me.
Your own experience.
This is my own experience. I also want to say that any woman who has had that experience needs to come out and talk about it.
You're listening to ABC News.
I'm Jay Farner from Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.05%. But choosing the right mortgage lender means choosing much more than just a rate. Let me ask you, does calling the company with the best client service in America, with 11 J.D. Power Awards to prove it, matter? Does calling the company that invented Rocket Mortgage, the industry's most innovative, client-focused technology, matter? Does calling the company with 17,000 plus team members who are helping to rebuild the great cities of Detroit and Cleveland matter? Of course it matters. No wonder our clients have made Quicken Loans America's #1 online lender. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com for the best mortgage experience on earth. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Among the major metro areas preparing to make New Year's Eve crowds safe is Boston. Mayor Marty Walsh.
Whether people are coming to celebrate downtown or out in the neighborhoods, we're making sure that we have a good, strong presence in both areas of the city.
Boston Police Commissioner William Evans.
You're going to see some observation offices up on rooftops.
Philadelphia Deputy Police Commissioner Dennis Wilson.
Always a concern of ours is celebratory gunfire.
We put a lot of work into trying to prevent this. It's completely reckless, very dangerous.
2017 is ending with a bitter blast, sub-zero wind chills, historic snow. President Trump taking to Twitter to write, quote, "Perhaps we could use a little bit of that good old global warming that our country, but not other countries, was going to pay trillions of dollars to protect against. Bundle up." The president has expressed skepticism about climate change, calling global warming a, quote, hoax that was created by the Chinese to hurt American manufacturing. This year, he withdrew the U.S. from that landmark Paris climate agreement to curb greenhouse gas emissions. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Scientists take average temperatures, not cold snaps, into account when assessing climate, an average over a year and compared to other years. And NASA scientists say 2017 is on track to be the warmest ever. An art teacher has been fired after complaints that images of classical paintings containing nudity were passed out in a classroom and seen by sixth graders at a school in Hiram, Utah. This is ABC News.
When you're hiring, you want qualified candidates fast, and it can be hard to know where to find them. More than 3 million businesses use Indeed.com, the world's #1 job site. Whether you need entry-level or highly skilled employees, Indeed helps you find great talent and make the right hire. Indeed is offering new users a $50 credit to give their first job post premium visibility as a sponsored job. Redeem this offer at Indeed.com/promo. That's Indeed.com/promo. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Pittsburgh's all-news station since 1975. This is KQV News Radio AM 1410 and worldwide at KQV.com, where the News Watch never stops.
KQV News Time, 6:05. Good evening, I'm Alexandria Chaklos. Cloudy skies, 18 degrees now in Pittsburgh. Expecting a low of 15 tonight. Snow developing after midnight. Saturday, cloudy, periods of snow mainly in the morning. Tomorrow's high 20. And total accumulation from the snowstorm headed our way, according to Skywatch, anywhere from 2 to 4 inches by Saturday night. We'll get more on the forecast in a few minutes from meteorologist Anthony Morrow. And a total traffic report on the roadway. Sports in 10 minutes, and Ron and Sana with the market scoreboard. And that will be coming your way in the next few minutes. The markets close lower at the end of trade, the last trading day for 2017. Well, the city of Pittsburgh's Department of Public Works has issued a level 2 snow alert with 2 to 4 inches expected. This starts at 10 o'clock tonight. The snowplow trackers will be activated. Snow is expected to begin to fall around midnight until about noon to 3 p.m. Saturday. About 50 plows will be deployed overnight. During a level 2 event, the Department of Public Works has 32 hours after the storm has ended to treat the streets. Residents should contact the 311 response center if their street isn't taken care of during that time frame. Homewood residents opened their doors this afternoon to American Red Cross volunteers. KQV reporter Elaine Effort explains why.
This is fire season, when officials say they see a spike in the number of home blazes. Last week, 3 people perished in a fire on Bennett Street in Homewood. American Red Cross Communications Director Dan Tobin says a small team of volunteers from the Red Cross went door to door in the same Bennett Street area, offering to help with developing a fire escape plan for homeowners and installing free smoke detectors.
These are 10-year lithium-ion battery smoke alarms. So they're free, and we install them. So we make sure they're in the right locations in the home. And the greatest thing about it is the homeowner doesn't have to worry about them for 10 years. So they're really good. They're not like the old 9-volt battery ones that you change, the batteries about twice a year. These will last 10 years.
Tobin says the Red Cross wants to provide practical resources to help residents avoid fires and to safely escape if they occur. Elaine Effort, 1410 KQV News.
The controversial legislation that bans the use of any device that could inflict pain on wild animals is signed into law by Mayor Bill Peduto. The legislation, sponsored by City Council President Bruce Krause, specifically bans the use of whips, sticks, muzzles, pitchforks, shocking devices, and elephant bullhooks. Opponents of the bill, including the Syria Shrine Circus, said the bill basically outlaws circuses in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Zoo and PPG Aquarium representatives also opposed the bill, saying it was based on false assumptions about the treatment of animals and needed to be amended. Supporters applaud the city's ban, which imposes a maximum $1,000 fine and 30 days in jail for each violation. KQV News Time is 6:08. Time for a look at the roadways. Problem areas out there could impact your commute. Let's check in now with Brendan Joseph with Total Traffic.
Jammed on the Parkway East inbound from before 30 to Braddock Avenue with a crash on the shoulder. Outbound stop and go the Boulevard to the Allies to Braddock Avenue. Heavy volume on the Parkway West inbound from Green Tree to the Fort Pitt Tunnel. Brendan Joseph, Total Traffic.
5-day forecast now. What's ahead for 2018? Well, it will remain cold, and we're going to get some snow in the forecast. Here's meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
Tonight we'll see cloudy skies with periods of snow developing around midnight. We'll have a low of 15. For tomorrow to be mostly cloudy with mainly morning periods of snow, and it'll have a high of 20. Accumulations totaling around 2 to 4 inches. Saturday night will be mostly cloudy with scattered snow showers and a low of 4. Sunday there'll be more clouds and sun with flurries and a high of 16. Monday we'll continue to see more clouds and sun with a few flurries and a high of 16. And for Tuesday there'll be a mix of clouds and sun with a high of 20. From the KQV Scout Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
At this hour in downtown Pittsburgh, we have cloudy skies. It is 19 degrees. Taking a look around the area, Butler, cloudy, 16. Beaver County, partly cloudy, 16. And Pittsburgh International, cloudy conditions and 18 degrees.
Walking those 3 extra blocks between the parking lot and the theater? Not to worry. You're wearing your Carl Herman fur. Furs, shearlings, cashmeres, and other fine outerwear and accessories. Carl Herman Furs, Smithfield Street, downtown.
KQV News Time is 6:10. The KQV newsroom is moved by all the tributes and well wishes our listeners are sharing with us as we prepare to cease operations Sunday night. Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto among them, sharing his thoughts about KQV going dark.
So I don't remember a time that KQV wasn't around. It's kind of hard for me to understand what it's going to be like without it there.
Mayor Peduto can be heard on tonight's Pittsburgh Profiles with KQV reporter Elaine Effort. Tune in at 7:30 tonight. And coming up later in this half hour, we'll be rebroadcasting a conversation that P.J. Maloney had with Elaine Effort, as well as Eleanor Shano, who used to work for KQV. And it's a little bit of our history. Eleanor Shano's efforts to try to keep the all-news format going when it was in doubt. And that in the next probably 10 minutes or so on KQV, we'll have that for you, that replay of that conversation from yesterday. With an anticipated frigid temperature range anywhere from 16 to about 1 degree above zero Sunday, the Pittsburgh Cultural Trust is moving some of the scheduled outdoor events for Highmark First Night Pittsburgh 2018 to warmer inside venues. About 90% of First Night programming already was scheduled to take place inside theaters, galleries, and other places. The annual First Night Parade normally travels down Penn Avenue. That's moving to the August Wilson Center starting at 7:30 p.m. and extending the fun until 9 p.m. with a puppet party. And the Highmark Warming Station, that will be on the corner of 9th Street and Penn Avenue. That now moving to 7th Street and Penn Avenue outside of the Benedum. KQV News Time, 6:12. A look at the sports news coming up, and then business news. Ron and Sana, Market Scoreboard just ahead.
Pittsburgh-based Brothers Brother would like to say thank you for all the local support for their humanitarian relief efforts for Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria. Brothers Brother will continue to work tirelessly to connect donations, including money, medicines, and medical supplies to areas around the world affected by disasters. Brothers Brother thanks you for your continued support. Call 412-321-3160 or visit brothersbrother.org to learn more.
Here's Beth Andrews of Net Worth Advisors on the subject of retirement planning.
When I was a little girl, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents. My grandpa used to give me a board with lots of nails just started in it. It was my job to hammer the nails the rest of the way in, and it would keep me busy for a little while. If Grandpa would have given me a screwdriver instead of a hammer, I might have gotten some of the nails in, but I might have hurt myself. Grandpa gave me the right tool for the job. When you're planning for retirement, it's just as important that you use the right tools for the job. If you use one of your investments for the wrong purpose, it could really hurt you. Learn how to get the most from your retirement savings. I'm Beth Andrews. Call me at 800-725-2988. That number again is 800-725-2988.
Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Net Worth Advisors are not affiliated companies.
Taking a look at KQV sports news now. The Penguins opening up a 3-game road trip tonight against Carolina. 5 players out with injuries: Chris Letang, Justin Schultz, Chad Ruido, and Brian Rust, and goalie Matt Murray. And because of that, Tristan Jarry will be starting in goal tonight. Saturday, the Fiesta Bowl on KQV. Number 9 ranked Penn State Nittany Lions. Number 11 Washington Huskies. Tune in for our pregame coverage at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, and the kickoff is at 4 p.m. A bowl action today. Wake Forest beating Texas A&M 55-52 in the Belk Bowl. And a couple games still underway, including the Sun Bowl, where it's NC State 38, Arizona 10. That is now in the fourth quarter. And in the second quarter, it is Northwestern 17, Kentucky 7. Game just getting underway between New Mexico State and Utah State. New Mexico 10 and Utah State 7. The Cotton Bowl Classic tonight between Ohio State and USC. That's a look at sports news. We'll check traffic and weather next, and then the Ron and Soda Market Scoreboard.
Domino's $7.99 large 3-topping carryout offer is every day. So no matter what day it is, it's always a good day for pizza. Ask for this offer. Availability and charges may apply.
Great things are happening at Carnegie Library of Pittsburgh because of you. Friends and neighbors experience a welcoming place. Goals are being achieved. Songs and cultures are being explored. New skills are being learned. Give today at carnegielibrary.org. This is your library. We are stronger with you.
Here's the latest on the traffic. Slowdowns on the Parkway East because of an accident located inbound near the Edgewood Avenue overpass has the shoulder blocked, and it's jammed from the 30 Wilkinsburg Forest Hills area. Another crash, 19 at Bower Hill Road, and an accident in Bloomfield, south of Millvale and Morwood Avenue.
With innovation in laser cataract surgery and multifocal lens technology, patients enjoy a fine-tuned full range of vision. Select a doctor who presents options. Select Scott and Christie Eye Care Associates in Fox Chapel and Cranberry. 724-772-5420.
Skywatch says periods of snow developing around midnight, a low of 15. And tomorrow, snow mainly in the morning, high of 20 Saturday, total accumulation 2 to 4 inches. Currently, cloudy and 18 degrees in Pittsburgh. Time now for the Ron and Sana Market Scoreboard.
Stocks finished the year on a down note despite what has been an extraordinary 12 months for stocks, a very solid performance both domestically and abroad. In fact, world stocks outperformed the U.S. for the first time in a number of years, and in fact, world stocks had their best year since 2009. U.S. stocks rose for 12 straight months. That is something that has not happened before in market history. The Dow finished the day down 118 points to 24,719. S&P down 14 to 2673. NASDAQ down 46 to 6903. Oil
moved up 28 cents to $60.12 a barrel, finishing at its highest level pretty much of the year. Gold also advanced $8 to $13.05 the ounce, eclipsing that 1,300 mark, while 10-year note yields dropped to 2.41% on weakness in the stock market. The dollar dropped, which also provided a lift for commodities. Continued volatility in Bitcoin as we closed out the year, and for the year, the Dow scored 71 record new highs. Again, something we've not seen, and beat the last record that we saw in 1995. And that's today's market scoreboard. This is Ron Insana for KQV News.
Well, the KQV News Department is closing down after more than 40 years. The two veteran news anchors with the station, P.J. Maloney and Elaine Effort. And yesterday was P.J. Maloney's last day on the air. Today is Elaine Effort's. P.J. talked with Eleanor Shana, who also worked at the station for many years and was instrumental in keeping the all-news format going. This is a rebroadcast of their conversation from yesterday.
Well, you were on the air first in when? 1949, was it?
No.
1950?
You lie, baby. 1952. How about that?
Oh, okay, 1952.
Yeah, guess what? In the same building where we worked at KQV, Chamber of Commerce, WDTV.
Mm-hmm.
Then it became KDKA, and the rest is history, and I've been around ever since.
And you've worked at KDKA, you've worked at WTAE-TV, at WIIC-TV, you've worked at WQED-TV, at WQEX-TV.
It's very hard to hit a moving object.
Exactly. And but Eleanor came to KQV in 1982 in a very auspicious manner. In fact, it was your presence, Eleanor, that saved KQV, because at the time Taft Broadcasting owned it and wanted to get rid of the format and sell the station. So those of us who were in the all-news business at the time at KQV thought, oh, that's it. We're done. We're out of a job. We have to go look elsewhere. But tell us what happened.
Well, I was working, anchoring the news in Palm Beach at the time. I got a phone call from my dear friend, Bob Dickey, and he said, I'm going to be out of a job. Taft is going to sell the station. I said, Bob, wait a minute. You have to find somebody with very deep pockets in Pittsburgh. So I thought, really, not very long. I said, hey, we've got to get in touch with Dick Scaife. And we did, arranged a meeting at the Duquesne Club with Bob and Dick Scaife, and Bob became a minor partner, and Dick Scaife bought the station, and we kept all news radio on the air, and that was the beginning. And this is the end, and it's such a loss for our region. But the fact is, all news radio, it's such an expensive, labor-intensive format that I just wonder if it will ever be again. What do you think?
Well, I'm sure it will exist, but not in the format that we have now with AM radio. Maybe it might last on FM, but really with the satellite radio services that are available right now, and what's happening on television with cable,
right.
That's really where it's at right now, is on the internet, on satellite, and on cable.
It's very difficult for me to talk because this is like, I feel like it's the death of a loved one. I mean, It cannot go away. You are going to say goodbye. How do you feel? Tell me.
I feel awful, but here's what it is, Eleanor. On the one hand, I'm looking forward to retirement. I have a pension and Social Security and some money set aside, so I'm okay right now, and I'm going to go into retirement. You know how it is, Eleanor. You spent 42 years getting up almost every morning, going to work, and really almost always having a lot of fun. Strange things happen. When Bob Dickey was here, we'd have big fights, and then we'd, make up the next day, and you know how that, you remember.
Yeah, and Bob Dickey, this is his dream. He made it happen. He brought this format from, WINS in New York?
Right.
And he made it happen. It was his child. He loved it. And his son, Bob Dickey Jr., tried as hard as he could to keep it going, but it wasn't meant to be.
No. And Elaine Effort is in the studio with me right now. And Elaine has been here at KQV since, was it 1973?
Before it was all news.
Yeah.
It was a music station.
Oh, my, another beautiful colleague. And I'm going to miss your voice. And how do you feel this morning, Elaine?
Well, yes, sad, disappointed. But it's my faith tradition to be grateful and thankful always and everywhere. So just what we had for this long. Many cities had all news radio station formats back in the 70s when we also converted from music to all news, but they couldn't keep it going. We had our ace in the hole was Robert W. Dickey Sr., and he kept it going for, look how long this has been, over 4 decades. And we have covered the best of Pittsburgh, the worst, the best in people, the worst in people. So the work has been its own reward. So I have no regrets, no complaints. But yeah, a little sad
and Elaine,
about the loss of the service.
You were out in the trenches every day. You are the one that made all news happen. You were the one out there, the reporter. Are you going to miss City Hall?
I just came back from there, and I will, because you never knew what was going to happen. You saw the agenda, but it didn't really mean that's what was going to happen. And, and it's interesting. It's history in the making.
Eleanor,
and we're giving the first view of it, the first version of history. So, yeah, I'm going to miss that.
Eleanor, let me tell you a real quick story. She was down at City Hall today, and City Council honored, not KQV, not KQV. They honored Elaine Effort. So it's Elaine Effort Day officially here in the city of Pittsburgh today. She got the proclamation this morning. She has it in her grubby mitts right now. So congratulations to Elaine Effort, who was honored by Pittsburgh City Council today with a ceremony down in City Council chambers.
So well deserved. Congratulations.
They said some of the nicest things about me that I've ever, and I thought, boy, who knew? Who knew they thought that way? So it was very nice. We had some young people in my family there, and they said, well, do you get a key to the city? No, but it's all the well wishes were really appreciated.
And that's a rebroadcast of a conversation that P.J. Maloney had yesterday with Eleanor Shano and Elaine Effort, talking about the end of news programming here at KQV. We're glad to have the honor to present the news over the years. I've only been here for 5 years. Elaine and PJ, they've been here for more than 30 and 40 years, so they've spent a lot of time covering the news in and around the city, bringing you the information, and it's been a long ride for them, and I know it's very sad, but they do it with joy in their heart, because they were able to fulfill their dreams in working in broadcast news. And we hope that you can continue to find the news that you need to know. But right here at KQV, the News Watch will continue in the next half hour with KQV's Paul Guggenheimer. So stay right here with 1410 KQV. A look at the KQV listener poll next as we continue our performance ratings of our elected officials today. It is Governor Tom Wolf. Stay with us.
I'm Robin Trzynski from the Original Mattress Factory. If you're considering paying retail price for a new mattress, this is your wake-up call. Why is there suddenly a mattress store on every corner? Well, just Google mattress markups. Original Mattress is a private label mattress brand sold directly to the public. We own the factory and the store. Why? Ethics. Let's just say excessive markups don't fit our values. Just say no to the middleman. The Original Mattress Factory, thoughtfully made, honestly priced. OriginalMattress.com.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line, a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Here is today's KQV TribLive.com listener poll. KQV is conducting end-of-the-year performance reviews for our elected federal, state, and local public servants. Today, we are asking you to evaluate Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf's job performance during 2017. If you give him a good rating, call 412-333-9190. A fair rating, call 412-333-9192, and a poor rating, call 412-333-9194, or vote at KQV.com. Just refresh the numbers at our website, and we have 18,831 votes, and of those, 84% giving Governor Wolf a poor job performance rating, 9% a good rating, and 7% a fair rating. The phone tally shows 1,583 callers who rate the governor as poor for 2017, 344 say he deserves a fair rating, and 249 give him a good rating. You can vote either online or by calling. Don't wait too long, though, because we'll be closing out the listener poll right before the top of the hour. The final number is coming up around 6:58 from KQV's Paul Guggenheimer. Another check of the roadways. Here is Brendan Joseph for Total Traffic.
Parkway East outbound jams Boulevard to the Allies to Braddock Avenue. Inbound is heavy from 30 to the Squirrel Hill Tunnel with a crash on the shoulder. Slow traffic on the Parkway West inbound approaching the Fort Pitt Tunnel. Brendan Joseph, Total Traffic.
Still taking your child's temperature the same way it was done decades ago? Upgrade to the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer. Don't delay. Pick one up at your local Club Warehouse or other fine retailers.
Tonight we'll see cloudy skies with periods of snow developing around midnight. We'll have a low of 15. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with mainly morning periods of snow and a high of 20. Then for Sunday we'll see more clouds and sun with flurries and a high of 16. Looking around the nation. For tomorrow, in Phoenix, it'll be sunny with a high of 76. Denver will see partly cloudy skies with a high of 51. Kansas City will be partly cloudy with a high of 16. In New Orleans, there'll be rain showers with a high of 61. And in Chicago, it'll be sunny with a high of only 10. From the KQV Scout Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
Taking a look around the area, looks like most locations reporting cloudy conditions. We did have some snow flurry activity earlier. Butler, 16 degrees. Pittsburgh International, cloudy, 18. Indiana, 16 and cloudy. And Latrobe has cloudy skies, 18 degrees. Newcastle, cloudy and 16 degrees. Here in downtown Pittsburgh, cloudy skies, 18 degrees. This is my last day on the air at KQV, and we are all saddened by the developments with the station closing down effective midnight Sunday, but I've enjoyed working here, learned a lot, and probably always a lot more to learn. I want to thank Bethany Emanuel out there at the editor's desk. Bethany has been busy over the years trying to keep us on the air, writing news, and she's done a great job of it, as all our editors have done. We appreciate their work. And also thank you, Paul. You've been here just a short time, but wish you well in whatever your endeavors are. And next, sorry that you couldn't be here a little longer. You've only been here for about, 6 months or so, but thanks so much for putting up with me. And
thank you for putting up with me.
Yeah,
right back at you.
We close out.
Don't worry about the clock.
Yeah, the News Watch will continue.
It will continue, but let me say that I have enjoyed working with you. I appreciate your professionalism, and I congratulate you on your years of service to KQV. You have been a radio news icon in this town, having worked, I know you were on WTAE, and of course WDUQ, and here at KQV, and I'm probably missing some station, right?
First, Weep Daisy, years ago, country format,
okay.
WEEP.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm. They had a big news staff here. Mm-hmm. I think they used to do the Penguins games, didn't they?
Don't know.
Back when, was it Jim Scott or Bill Scott was doing the play-by-play? As a kid, I remember that. But an iconic station. You have been such a part of the broadcast journalism scene, an important part of the broadcast journalism scene here in Pittsburgh, Alexandria, Chaclos. So I salute you. And I wish you well also in your future endeavors, and I know that you'll find something interesting to do. You always do.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm very humbled by those words. Thank you very much, and
You're welcome.
Good luck to you.
Thank
you. Thanks to all you listeners for tuning in. The News Watch is continuing with KQV's Paul Guggenheimer.
All right, thank you. The last handoff. I'll try not to drop the ball here. Now that I'm finally getting the hang of this, we all run everything here, press all the buttons, and I finally got the hang of it, and now it's over. But thank you, Andrea. I always want to call her Alex, but it's Alexandria. Thank you, Alexandria Chaclos. And we will continue on here in this half hour with more news. We'll get to sports. We'll preview the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow between Penn State and the University of Washington Huskies. And we've got we'll hear from Le'Veon Bell about his thoughts about the possibility that he could be the NFL rushing title holder this year. That's coming up in sports, traffic and weather on the 8th, Bloomberg Market Minute at 50 past. But we're going to start this half hour with our live line interview. It's our last live line on KQV. And appropriately enough, it's with a rock and roll guy, another icon in the rock and roll world, Johnny Halo of Johnny Angel. Johnny Halo. I figures I'd say that. Johnny Angel of Johnny Angel and the Halos, joining us on the KQV live line. He's been playing classic rock and roll for decades now. This is a group that you've seen around Pittsburgh, that you've heard in some classic venues, on the radio as well. And they've been such a part of the rock and roll scene in this town, just like KQV used to be. And I thought it would be appropriate to invite Johnny Angel to join us here on the KQV live line at 6:33. Good evening, Johnny Angel. How are you?
I'm great, Paul, and you sound chipper, man.
I'm trying to be. You know, I'm sounding chipper on the outside and crying on the inside right now. That's kind of where I'm at.
I totally understand that. You know, in KQV, I mean, as far as my career, plays a big role too, because back in the day when I was in the Cordells, I'm going back to the 60s, when Chuck Brinkman was still in town. And KQV used to have a window there where you would go in. I don't know if you guys still do that, do you?
No. We used to be across the street, and it's been 35 years since we had that. We used to be right across the street from where we are now, on the corner of Smithfield and 7th.
That's
and
right.
Across the street is the Chamber of Commerce building, and there's been a bagel shop there. So you can look in there and watch them baking some bagels, you know. But I know exactly what you're talking about, Johnny, because when I was a kid, I would, I remember my dad would drive us downtown and we'd go by the radio station and we'd watch the guys spinning the records.
Absolutely.
I think it was Chuck Brinkman the time we drove by. And it was kind of like going behind the curtain to see The Wizard of Oz, because I was a kid and I remember like when the Beatles were on KQV and the Monkees and the Supremes, and I would picture them all like waiting around the studio until it was their turn to sing again. Like I imagined them all being there. I don't think I really was, I wasn't the brightest kid, but I don't think I really thought they were actually there. But I just sort of pictured them there, taking turns at the microphone to sing their songs. And it's such a magical world of, on rock and roll on KQV in those days. And then to see the guy sitting there drinking a Coke and playing the records was like going behind the curtain. But you were part of groups that were, part of the stable of performers on KQV, right?
Oh, yeah. Our first record came out in 1966. And we were in a group called the Cordells on Stilltown Sound Records. And Chuck Brinkman was one of the first jocks to play it for us in Pittsburgh. And it was on KQV.
and that had to be, and in those days, I mean, KQV was breaking records. KQV helped make, Tommy James and the Shondells, they helped the Hanky Panky go to number one. That they had a lot of influence in those days, so I can only imagine what that felt like for you. I'll let you describe what it was like to hear a record that you were a part of on KQV.
Well, I was still in high school at the time when it came out, and I remember when we came back in town and we heard that ours was being played, and so you'd sit in your car and listen. All of a sudden you hear your record come on, and it was like you couldn't believe it at first, but then what that did for your ego around your friends was just incredible.
And the girls too, I'm guessing, huh?
That's what I mean by friends.
Attaboy, Johnny. It's hard to think of. I've met you a couple times at Mike Vukic's, Mike Vail, his golf tournament, And you just don't. You must be. There must be like a portrait of you somewhere in your house. It's like turning, crazy ugly, like the portrait of Dorian Gray. Because he makes this pact, and because you look eternally youthful. You don't look. You don't look, like you'd be even 40.
I appreciate that, man.
I'm serious. I'm thinking, how can this guy, after, I've heard about you, but then when I finally met you, I'm like, this can't be the same guy. He can't be that old.
Well, our group on this coming May will celebrate our 52nd year together.
That's crazy. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, but hard to believe. You play the drums, you sing, you do, you're multi-talented. How did you pick it up? How did you get your start in music?
Actually, I started as a dancer, dancing and singing in church. I started singing in a church choir when I was 5, and then that grew into singing on the street corner with a bunch of my buddies. And of course, our same street corner was the same street corner that the Marcells broke on. And we all grew up in that same neighborhood. And then I always wanted to play the drums, but my parents wouldn't let me. So it was hilarious because they tried to make me play the accordion, which I have nothing against accordions, but it's not me. So what happened was that when I first went to Oliver, now back in those days, you started high school in 7th grade. They didn't have middle schools and everything. So fresh out of grade school, 7th grade, I go up to Oliver, and I enroll in the band. And I take 2 instruments. I took a trumpet and drums, which they'd let you try too, as long as you could keep up with them. And my parents didn't know I was playing drums. I just carried a trumpet case home and practiced my trumpet, and in my own quiet times, I practiced the drums. What I didn't realize was on open house, my parents went up and they went into the band room and they said, can you tell me where Jack would be? And they went, oh yeah, over in the drum section. And she went, no, I'm talking about Jack. He's a trumpet player. He has one, but he's not a trumpet player. And then I started playing drums at that age, and within a year I was on a whole kit and playing professionally, actually. And then whenever I was making money, Dad accepted the drums.
And yeah, when you're bringing home the bacon, the parents are happy about it. All of a sudden, it's like they really changed their tune, don't they?
That's exactly right.
So with those humble beginnings, and thank you for not, when I asked Andre Previn, how he got his start in music, he practically bit my head off. I thought that was the dumbest question in the world.
I love the question.
Yeah, most people do. Thank you for liking the question and answering it so well. So from those humble beginnings, here you are, over 50 years later, a rock and roll legend, and someone who's normally touring a lot, especially this time of year. But I guess this year you're scaling it back a little bit, and you're going to be doing a radio show on the internet. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing on New Year's Eve to ring in 2018.
Well, first of all, with the touring, we still are. We've been touring with the original Shondells. And as you well know, Mike had some setbacks, and so we had to lay low a little bit in December and January. But we'll be back out on the road with them in February. In fact, we'll be down in Florida with them and a couple other concert venues. But my radio show, I've been in and out of radio for the last 30 years. Porky Chedwick was my hero and got me involved in radio. And I was on for a while with Mad Mike Metro. And I don't know if it's cool to mention other stations.
No, go ahead. Hey, this is our third to last day, so whatever.
I did some time in the mornings with the Morning Zoo on 3WS with Jim Merkel and those guys, and then I had my own radio show on WJAS, and even did some talk radio on KDKA. But my JAS show started as a Sunday night oldies show, and of course when they went to talk radio, there was a gentleman down in the South that heard me and asked if I would like to get involved in internet radio. And I said, sure. So for 4 years now, I've been on internet radio coming out of the Carolinas. And on Sunday nights, I'm on from 7 till 11 on jukeandoldies.com. So if you have a computer or a smartphone or any of those types of things, you can tune in on Sunday nights. And it's just like my old radio shows. I do interviews with a lot of the national acts that I've worked with. I spotlight the music that I grew up with, the mostly 60s soul, early 60s soul, and rhythm and blues that created soul. And this Sunday, since I'm not a big fan of New Year's Eve performing. I've done it all my life, but I'm kind of glad we're not this year. But anyway, I'll be on the air from 7 to 11 o'clock, playing my favorite soul records from the last year that I've been playing on my show, and taking a lot of requests from friends and chatting about the year in general. But if you'd like to tune in, you just go to www.jukinoldies, Jukin oldies, oldies.com, and hit live on air, and I'll be there. You can send me emails, and it's fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a blast. And let me give that address again for people that want to tune you in on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve this Sunday night, right?
Yep.
7 to 11. It's Johnny Angel, jukinoldies.com, JUKINOLDIES.com. And I don't know if you still need to put the www there or not.
Yeah, you know.
You're old school like I am that way. But you can tune in and be with Johnny on New Year's Eve. And I'm glad. I knew you guys were still playing. I just.
Oh, yeah. We're doing it a lot. I mean, the Halos have been playing a whole bunch, but we also, some of the guys in the Halos with me, like Bubba and Davey and Loomis, we started something called the Johnny Angel All-Star Jam Band. And we played down at my Atrias at TNC Park and a couple other little places. But there's been so many great artists that come through Pittsburgh that I always wanted to work with, but I couldn't because they were in other groups. So we have, on guitar, we have Donnie Garvin, who's one of the baddest guitar players on the planet. And, of course, he was one of the staples of the doo-wop specials on public television. He works with Pure Gold. I also have on keyboards, we have Fred DeLue, who used to be with the Igniters. In fact, I think he's down at the Blues Convention right now with Matt Perrani. And then we have a whole bunch of old-timers that come and sing with us, like Gary Glenn from Gary Glenn and Joel Tones. And it just goes on and on and on. Pecky comes in every now and then, and Frankie Zori and Mike Vale when he's feeling up to it, and Marianne Mangini. It's just a fun night. So when we're not playing as the Halos, we're out as my jam band, which is a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, you guys, I've seen you a couple times now at Mike's at the Tracy Vukic Memorial Classic Golf Tournament, which Mike Vale puts on, that wonderful charity tournament. And I've seen you guys the last couple of years, and I mean, these guys, just for folks, if you haven't had the experience yet, these are guys that can really play. Whenever you have the chance to see them, you got to check out Johnny Angel and the Halos. And as Johnny said, they perform quite often with the Crystal Blue Band, but with them or on their own, Johnny Angel and the Halos, or the All-Star incarnation that Johnny's talking about. It is an experience that you will be sure to enjoy. And we'll look forward to catching your act, your next appearance. I think, we all love going to PNC Park, and I didn't realize you were involved with the Atrias, and I was reading up on that on the internet. So, that's kind of nice when you own the restaurant. You're going to get a gig, right?
That's right. And the other thing that's really cool is my 50-some years in the business, I've collected so much memorabilia from people I've worked with that I now have my museum over in Manchester next to the Bicycle Museum. And it's called Johnny Angel's Ginchy Stuff and Music Museum. And for those of you who haven't been there, I mean, it's really a trip through Pittsburgh music, as well as some national artists that we've worked with, like Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Temptations, James Brown, Supremes, all the people you were talking about. There's also a very, very large display of all the Pittsburgh groups that have been doing this for over 50 years. And so I'd like to invite everyone down for that, too, because it's a lot of fun, it's a lot of history, and it's the Berg.
Absolutely. And that's over in Manchester.
Yes, it's the R.J. Casey Industrial Park. It's right between the Manchester Craftsman's Guild and the Bicycle Heaven Museum. Another new endeavor for Johnny Angel. Yeah, that's the one you were telling me about when I saw you back in September. Yes. And I have to thank you. That day, you allowed me to come up on stage and sing a cover version of Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. I got to do that with the legendary Johnny Angel. That is a forever memory for me. It's something I can say that it was on the bucket list that I got to do You rocked the crowd, man. You did your thing.
I hope so. I hope I lived up to the talent that was, held my own with the talent that was surrounding me, because there was a lot of talent on that stage that night.
Yeah, there was. Every year. Mike, he's such a class guy. Mike Vail and I have been friends for a long, long time. And to share a stage with him is just incredible, because, here's an icon in Pittsburgh that wrote so many great #1 records.
Yes, yeah.
And he's one of our own. He's a burger, you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. We had him on yesterday. We had Mike on, and he's another guy that has those ties to KQV, and that's a part of what this conversation and so many of the conversations we've been having, and this just happens to be the last live line for us, which is why I've gone incredibly long. I've gone through all the stop signs, Johnny, on this one. I got people waving, stop, slow down, turn around, pull over. If the cops are waiting to give me a ticket. So I have to wrap it up, but I want to say that I've really enjoyed talking to you. We could do this all night. But tune in to Johnny Angel's New Year's Eve show again on jukinoldies.com. Sunday night to New Year's Eve, 7 to 11. Johnny, thanks for being a part of this show today, being a part of the history of KQV, and all the best to you, Johnny Angel, and all the halos in the coming year of 2018.
Thank you, Paul. Best wishes for you, man, because you're a class act, and I hope everything goes well for you. We're going to miss KQV, man. It's like, it's history.
It may come back in some way, shape, or form. It won't be quite like this, but we'll go dark for a while, but hopefully we'll rise from the ashes. In the meantime, Johnny, thanks for everything. Thanks for what you said. I appreciate it.
And Happy New Year.
Yeah, and to you and yours.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye now. That's Johnny Angel of Johnny Angel and the Halos. Joining us on the KQV Live line. I don't know what we have time left to do at this point. Well, it is 6:49, and so let's get to some traffic here. We can do that. Oh, boy. We have an accident, Baptist Road at Gardenville Road in Whitehall. Another one in Pine, Emmett Road at English Road. Accident cleared on the Parkway East. That's good news. Inbound Edgewood Avenue overpass. And that's all we have time for. Weather tonight, cloudy with periods of snow developing around midnight, low 15. Tomorrow we could see 2 to 4 inches of snow. Currently 17 and cloudy in Pittsburgh and 18 and cloudy at the airport. KQV News Time 6:50. Time now for a Bloomberg Market Minute.
This is a Bloomberg Market Minute. 2017 was a banner year for Wall Street, but stocks trimmed their gains in the final session of the year as the dollar weakened. The Dow Jones Industrials fell 118 points, or 0.5%, to 24,719. The Nasdaq closed 46 points, or 0.2% lower. The S&P 500 lost 14 points, or 0.5%. The Dow gained 25% for the year. The Nasdaq rose 28%, and the S&P added 20%. Apple shares fell 1% after the iPhone maker issued an apology to customers for software changes that slowed the performance of older model smartphones. Apple says it really was done to prevent shutdowns caused by aging batteries. Business at movie theater box offices slowed some in 2017. ComScore projects domestic ticket sales will be down about 2.6% from 2016 to $11.1 billion. That would still make this the third highest grossing year in cinema history. Jeff Bellinger, Bloomberg Radio.
All righty. Thank you, Jeff. It's 6:51. We'll take a break, come back, and we will get to the KQV Sports because it's sponsored and also because I promised I'd have it. So that's coming up after these words. Don't go away.
Successful organizations have experts, marketing experts, finance experts, logistics experts, but few have cloud experts. Fortunately, CDW has cloud experts, lots of them. CDW Cloud Consulting Services can help your company develop smart strategic cloud solutions. They'll work within your budget and requirements to help your company get ahead of the competition and maximize your cloud investment. Visit cdw.com/cloud to learn more about our cloud consulting services. CDW, people who get it.
KQV News Time is 6:51. Better late than never. Here's KQV Sports brought to you by Bridgeville Appliance. Tomorrow here on KQV, we have the Fiesta Bowl, Penn State's bowl appearance against the University of Washington Huskies. The Nittany Lions hoping to come up with a victory in a game that kicks off at 4 p.m. in Glendale, Arizona. Of course, last year the Nittany Lions lost the Rose Bowl. It was a heartbreaker, last-second loss, so they hope to make up for that tonight, or I should say tomorrow afternoon here on KQV. The pregame begins at 2:30 in the afternoon, and again, the kickoff is 4 p.m. Penn State versus Washington, and Penn State running back Saquon Barkley talking about how going up against the opponents in the Big Ten have really helped prepare him for what he will face from the Huskies tomorrow.
It's a fun challenge. The same way you approach that is the same way you approach every other game, especially in the Big Ten. I think we in Big Ten we're well known for rush defense. Go against like Ohio State and Michigan State and those teams week in, week out. I think they helped us prepare for this moment.
And that's, again, a 4 o'clock kickoff with the pregame coverage starting here on KQV at 2:30. You can catch the 90-minute pregame and then the entire game, as you've been with all of the other Penn State games throughout the years here on your home for Penn State sports, KQV. Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns Sunday. And Le'Veon Bell saying he's not going to worry too much about securing the rushing title, which he has a chance to win, but he said that's not the most important thing.
I think, for me personally, I just want to win Super Bowls. I don't necessarily care about the rushing title, having most yards or things like that. I just want to make sure I go out there, do whatever it takes for our team to win games and win Super Bowls.
Steelers and Browns, 1 p.m. at Heinz Field Sunday. Tonight, the Penguins take on Carolina, and it'll be Tristan Jarry in goal for the injured Matt Murray, who's game-to-game with an upper body injury. And then the Penguins play again on New Year's Eve, Sunday, at Detroit. That's KQV Sports, and it is brought to you by Bridgeville Appliance.
Customer service, personal attention, and fair pricing is what you get when you shop at Bridgeville Appliance, leaders in the industry since 1947. Their expert staff can help you find what you need at the right price. Stop in or go to BridgevilleAppliance.com to learn how they can help you.
Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall and Museum has succeeded for many decades in preserving the honor and memory of the men and women who have fought for the United States throughout history. Their magnificent halls reflect the valor and heroism that helped shape this great country. And now they call on you for support. You can help them continue to carry the legacy of fallen heroes with a tax-deductible donation. A gift of appreciated stocks, bonds, or mutual funds is an excellent way to support the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Hall and Museum, which is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation. Your donation may be eligible for a tax deduction, and it may allow you to avoid or reduce capital gains taxes. For more information and forms on how to make your donation of stock to Soldiers and Sailors, please contact Soldiers and Sailors at 412-621-4253. 412-621-4253, or go to soldiersandsailorshall.org to learn more.
Visit Swickley BMW for your ultimate driving machine. Swickley BMW, just minutes from Wexford Cranberry off I-79, or at SwickleyBMW.com.
The holidays can bring additional stress to those suffering from addictions as well as to the families who love them. At Greenbrier, we recognize that. I'm Mary Banaszak, CEO of Greenbrier Treatment Center. Greenbrier offers help and hope through programs at several locations throughout the Pittsburgh area. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of a renewed life and your family the gift of a lifetime. Call Greenbrier today at 1-800-637-4673. That's 1-800-637-HOPE.
KQV News Time is 6:56, and there's not a whole lot that we have time for in these last 4 minutes, but I do want to make sure we get the results in for our KQVTribLive.com listener poll. We asked the question here as we conduct our end-of-the-year performance reviews for our elected federal, state, and local public servants. Today we asked you to evaluate Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf's job performance. We asked how you would rate the governor's job performance over the past year, if it was good, fair, or poor. Those were the choices. And now here are the final results. We had 2,193 phone calls. 251 said that Governor Wolf is doing a good job. 348 said the governor is doing a fair job. And 1,594 said the governor is doing a poor job. Online at KQV.com. Updating those final totals, 20,808 total votes of those, 86% said that the governor is doing a poor job, 8% said a good job, and 6% a fair job. KQV News Time is 6:57. Let's get to traffic. Do that a little bit early here. And we have Brendan Joseph standing by at Total Traffic with an update. Brendan, what do you have for us?
Heavy on the Parkway east outbound from Oakland to Braddock Avenue, inbound from 30 to the Squirrel Hill Tunnel, and there's a tap of the brakes on the Parkway west inbound approaching the Fort Pitt Tunnel. Brendan Joseph, Total Traffic.
Thank you, Brendan. We do have an accident in Penn Hills on 380 at Verona Road, Robinson Boulevard, Frankstown Road. Also, Brookline 19 West Liberty Avenue between Belle Isle Avenue and Capitol Avenue closed due to a water main break. So be on the lookout for that. And now we'll take this break and be right back. Stay tuned.
This traffic report brought to you by Welch's 100% grape juice. This winter, help keep your immune system healthy with Welch's 100% purple grape juice. It gives your body the boost of vitamin C it needs. Welch's is 100% grape juice with no sugar added, ever. Move over orange juice. Get the power of purple with Welch's grape juice. Farmer owned, family grown.
Tonight there'll be cloudy skies with periods of snow developing around midnight. We'll have a low of 15. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with mainly morning periods of snow and a high of 20. And then on Sunday there'll be more clouds and sun with flurries and a high of 16. From the KQV Skywarch Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Anthony Morrow.
Currently in downtown Pittsburgh, we have cloudy skies and 17 degrees, cloudy and 18 at Pittsburgh International Airport.
Are you hiring? Join the over 3 million businesses that use Indeed.com for hiring. Post your next job opening on the world's #1 job site, Indeed.com.
KQV News Time is 6:59. 6:59. It gives me a few seconds to say thank you to KQV, as this is my last broadcast, for allowing me to be a part of this great station with its amazing history over nearly a century of being on the air. I'm so glad that I had a chance to be a part of this during my career. Thanks to everyone at KQV for making me a part of the family. I will miss this job very much.
All news, all the time. You're tuned to AM 1410, KQV Pittsburgh, and worldwide at KQV.com. Give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
ABC News, brought to you by Vincentian Marion Manor.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. The Wall Street ended the last trading day of the year generally down. It is the best year for the S&P 500 in 4 years. Art Hogan, Chief.